Introducing Etsy's risk-free advertising service. Oh, do I have some words for this one, painters. Etsy has been making some big changes lately. They've been introducing a lot of services lately that are designed to help creators. I'm gonna save all of my thoughts on this for the end of the video. I want to present all the facts and educate everybody on what Etsy is doing. My thoughts on it can be saved for later because I want the first half of this video to be based completely in fact. I don't want my emotions or opinions on the matter to cloud what the facts are. I want to present them to you guys, allow you to make your own judgments on this, and then in the end, if you want to stick around, you can hear my thoughts. They're going to be very animated and I have very strong feelings on these matters. But again, I want to present the facts first. Some of you may be thinking like, why is this important? Why are you even making a video? A lot of people that follow me are also small business creators. They use Etsy. I want to make sure that they're aware of what's going on the platform they're using and just keep people in the know. Honestly, the first week that this came out, I had ignored it. I didn't even really know what was going on. And then I all of a sudden was like, wait a second, I should probably look into this. And when I did, I found out a lot. So I'm going to be sharing that with you today. Here we go. So I'm going to read this straight from Etsy's website, introducing Etsy's risk-free advertising service. Today we're excited to announce two important updates coming in April that will help you increase traffic to your shop with advertising and eliminate the risk of paying for ads that don't lead to a sale. Again, gonna save my opinions on the matter for later, but that does sound helpful. They're introducing expanded advertising service with off-site ads. So I'm not gonna read this whole thing. I'll basically just paraphrase most of it. What they're gonna be doing is creating off-site ads through Google that will bring people to your shop and help you make sales. You won't have to pay for those ads. When someone clicks those ads, if they purchase an item from that click, Etsy now gets to take 15% of the profits from that. Okay, that's fine. You wouldn't have made that sale if someone hadn't clicked that ad anyway. They're making this an optional service. If you make less than $10,000 a year on Etsy, you can opt out of this service. If you make more than $10,000, it's mandatory. You don't have a choice in the matter. However, they do lower their percentage that they take from 15 to 12%. So if you make over 10,000, you're kind of getting a discount on their ads. This is what made me look into it because I thought that it was something that you would be able to opt into. I didn't know it would be something that you were automatically signed up for. So it says for most sellers, off-site ads is optional, but it's a great opportunity to grow your business, so all sellers will automatically be enrolled. You'll get risk-free advertising run by our experienced team of advertising experts, and you'll only pay a fee when you make a sale. So there are no upfront costs for you. A lot of people seem to think that they're going to be forced into paying for these ads, and you don't. They are free, but know that if you have a shop, you are automatically enrolled unless you choose to opt out. We'll discuss opting out later. I want to continue with just presenting facts before we get to opinionated matters. Last paragraph of their little explanation. If you've made more than $10,000 US in sales on Etsy in a 12-month period, you'll benefit most from off-site ads. You'll be required to participate for the lifetime of your shop, regardless of if you make $10,000 in 2019 and maybe you make $5,000 in 2020. Because you made $10,000 in 2019, you will automatically be enrolled in this forever. It doesn't matter if business drops off on your shop, if profits go down, you are permanently enrolled in this program and you cannot opt out if you have ever made more than $10,000 on Etsy in any given year. The way they calculate this is they check your sales at the beginning of each month to determine whether or not in the past year you have made $10,000. They check it monthly. So for those who are under $10,000, right now you can opt out, but if you ever hit a point where you're making more than $10,000, you will not be able to opt out and you will be paying that discounted percentage of 12%. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty hard keeping opinions out of this. Just present the facts. Austin, save your opinions. We can do this, painters. We're gonna get through this before I explode. This is not going to pop from Etsy, it's going to pop from allergies. I don't know if you can see, but I have my diffuser going. It's been a rough allergy day. My head feels like a balloon. Etsy understood that there were going to be a lot of questions. They opened up a Q&A where Etsy sellers could ask questions, and a team of, I think it was around 10 people from Etsy would go through and answer them. I collected a few questions that I think would apply to a majority of sellers, and I'm just going to read those and Etsy's responses just so we can cover, okay, here's what they're doing, here's how the community's feeling, and here's what Etsy's saying to the community. This first question says, in the past I've made far over the $10,000 mark. However, the last few years have been dismal and only hit that threshold because of free shipping built into her product cost. Not only do we pay a fee on shipping, whether free or not, We will also be paying 12% more of it if the item sells by ads off-site. This is truly handicapping my ability to sell large items. Seriously, lots of my items ship for between 20 to 30. Fees on top of that are insane. I also want to know if the 12% is on top of the already 3 point whatever %. Is our total on those items going to be close to 19% with processing fees and Etsy fees? So for those of you that don't know, Etsy charges processing fees and just their own regular fee on every single item that you sell. That includes a percentage of your shipping costs. Etsy's response to this: thank you for sharing this with us. I definitely understand your concerns and will make sure to pass along your feedback to the team. For now, you may find this article in the seller handbook about creating a small business budget helpful. The offsite ad fee is in addition to Etsy's transaction and payment processing fees. So, extreme opinions later. What Etsy is saying is, if this isn't going to work for you, you should probably look at your budget and look at what you're selling items for and readjust. Okay. Oh, I can't wait to the fucking end. Next question. This is another one about money, because whether or not we want to admit it, our creations on Etsy are to make money. There's a reason that we're trying to sell these things. Hi, I do not necessarily want additional sales at lower margins due to Etsy taking 12%. That is a huge chunk of my margin on top of Etsy's existing fees. My products are labor intensive, and I organically generate enough that it's already been difficult at times to keep up with orders. Forcing additional sales on me at lower margins would likely drive me off Etsy. Why can I not opt out? So their response: shops that make more than $10,000 US in sales in a 12-month period are required to participate. However, every business is different and only you can decide what margins work best for you. It's important to take all your business costs into consideration when pricing your items, including advertising cost. We can't give advice on pricing or margins, but we recently released the same article that they mentioned in the last one about creating a small business budget. Check out tips and strategies you can use to get a business budget that will help your business grow. I'm letting out an opinion in this one. They say that every business is different and only you can decide what works best for you. Why is it not an option for people who make $10,000 or more to opt out then? If we know what's best, why would we be forced into a program that is going to be taking profit from us? The rest of the opinions will be saved for later. This is just the community and Etsy's responses. I want you to know how they're handling this. This question comes from Bunny Rabbit Toys. So will this 12% be on top of the 8% we already pay for Etsy's fees and credit card fees? We will now lose 20% on each sale then. I can't afford to take a 20% hit on my items. My profit margin isn't big enough. This is really bad for sellers like me that sell large items where shipping costs a lot. It cost me $40 to ship her items. You will now be taking 20% out of my shipping cost too? I cannot afford that. Their response, in turn, is just the similar, you should work and adjust your price margins. I understand them saying that, and that was actually my first thought of like, oh, I'm just gonna have to adjust my price margins. Save it for the end of the video. I will give firsthand proof from my shop of why this doesn't work. This last one I picked because I think this also applies to a lot of small creators. I already successfully advertise on Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. Why is the advertising option mandatory? It should be opt-in. For those people, and including myself, where a majority of our advertising comes from free platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever you're using to just promote your items without having to pay for outside ads directly from Etsy or Google. Yeah, this is kind of a slap in the face. Like, I do all my own advertising. I don't need the help. Why is this a mandatory thing? Basically, they explain that if you make under 10,000, you can opt out. If you make over, you can't. But plus, there's a few reasons to get excited about our new offsite advertising service. We're eliminating the risk that you could pay for ads that don't lead to a sale. So with offsite ads, you don't pay anything until you make a sale. That's actually pretty fair. Before, with certain ads, you could be paying for things similar with like Facebook and Instagram. You could pay to promote an item and it could lead to no sales, and maybe your sales budget didn't go according to plan. So those were just 4 questions that I thought I should share. They seem like things that a majority of people would probably think. I'm gonna shut my computer now and I'm gonna try to present things without being too harsh and critical. My thoughts on this. Sounds great, right? More promotion, awesome. That means more sales. They want to take a percentage. Well, I wouldn't have made that sale if they hadn't promoted it anyway, so cool. It should just be helping me. That sounds great in a fantasy world. I am going to show the statistics from a handmade item from my shop, my custom tie-dye sweatshirts. And I'm going to be very transparent with this. I will show you my sales graphs. I will show you how my sales have been with this item since Etsy's new implemented rules, because this isn't the first new rule that they've implemented. If you aren't aware, about 6 months ago in July or August of 2019, They decided that from now on, if you aren't offering free shipping on your items, you will not be shown on the front page of the search, which is where 80% of sales come from. That was part of the statistics they gave. It might have been 90%. I'm saying 80 because I don't want to highball it and then people be like, oh, well, you're wrong. They actually said this. So I'm going to lowball it. I'm pretty sure it was 80%. So if you weren't offering free shipping, you weren't getting seen, you're not going to make sales. So I said, okay, guess I'm going to have to offer free shipping. Their seller handbook said, just start putting that same shipping cost right into the price of your item. I had my sweatshirts originally priced at $35. With that, I was able to make about a $20 profit on these, which is fair. I'm fine with a $20 profit. That's okay. $35 plus shipping, it usually put it at about $45. So when Etsy decides to strong arm, and that's what it was strong arming. And you know what, I'm gonna start letting some emotions out. When Etsy decides that it's gonna strong arm you into implementing free shipping, because if you don't, you're not gonna be seen and you won't make sales, you basically have no choice but to do what they say. If they think that someone's less likely to pay $35 plus shipping, but they're more likely to pay $45 with free shipping, whatever. If they're telling me it's gonna work, I have to imagine that they have my best interest at heart because they are the creative platform. Fine, I'll do it. So I'm going to show the sales. 80% of my sweatshirt sales came before I had to raise the price. The minute I raised the price, my sales dropped off. Only 20% for the next 6 months. I did 80% of my sales in 6 months for 2019 on this item. Granted, they're sweatshirts. So, you know, September through December has always been my better season for selling these sweatshirts in years past. The minute I had to raise my price to $45, the sales dropped off. But I thought that, you know, I was supposed to be seen on the front page and people would be more likely to buy, even though I had to raise my price to make sure that I was still meeting my profit margins. I considered quitting Etsy back then because I immediately saw it for what it was. It was bullying your smaller creators into doing what you're saying because, well, this is just how it's gonna be from now on. It was strong-arming their creators into doing what they wanted. They saw that they could get away with it, so now they're implementing a new thing, in my opinion. Some of you may be thinking like, oh, you're being a baby, like whatever. I'm gonna be completely transparent again with this. I'm gonna break down exactly how this would go if I was to stick with Etsy and use offsite ads when I sell a sweatshirt. We have the price at $45 right now. So $45. Right off the top, we can assume that Etsy's gonna take 20% of that because they have their 12 to 15%, and then they have their like 8% that they pretty much take for your processing and just their Etsy listing fees and all that stuff. Break it on down, get the calculator open. 45 times 20%, $9, 45 minus 9, we're up to $36. Now, I'm gonna have to take off 15 for my item costs and 10 for my shipping. Plus, when I buy dye, I could make a lot of things. So I'm gonna say that dye is usually, we'll say it's $1 for each item because I could buy a tub of dye and make like 10 items. So we'll just say it's $1 for all the colors together that would go into one sweatshirt. 10 bucks. I now just made a $10 profit on an item that sold for $45. I got $10 from my $45 item. Do I even need to go into that? Etsy's solution, as you saw by their questions, is, oh, well, you just have to adjust your profit margins. Well, when I adjusted from 35 to 45, I saw a giant decrease in sales. And now I'm supposed to raise what, from 45 to 55/60 so I can make my original $20 that I was making profit-wise? Or should I take a hit, have to do way more work selling more sweatshirts because of offsite ads, and make less money? I'm doing twice the amount of work that I used to have to do for the same amount of money. But don't worry everyone, because Etsy has your back. Offsite ads are here to help. Free shipping's here to help. I'm actually really starting to get pissed off talking about this. Like, that's just me right there. That was what I am implementing from my shop to make my very biased opinion right now. It's very biased, and I'm just putting that out there. I had a conversation with a few other creators, and we've all come to the same conclusion of the people that can't opt out. They're obviously always going to have ads run. So they would be shown far more than anybody who makes under 10,000. Their whole thing is you can opt out. And I immediately was like, okay, I'll just opt out. What one friend brought to my attention was, well, if you opt out, they're just not going to promote your stuff, and they're going to be flooding people's ads with all this other stuff that isn't yours. So when you go on Etsy, the promoted listings you see, things like that, they're going to be from people who have opted into this system. If you don't join their system, you're going to get lost in this sea of promotion. And I hadn't thought about it like that. They brought it up casually, and I was just like, oh damn, like, yeah, I guess, like, you're right, I would have to opt in to make sure that I'm shown just as much as these people who are opting in and staying in it, or have no choice and are forced to stay in it. In my opinion, up front, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, they're sick of people making really good money on this platform and them not making a ton of money. That's not me saying that like Etsy hasn't been making money. It's me saying that I think these executives found out that they could be making a lot more money if they started doing this mandatory selling. Etsy as a platform is huge. It has a lot of super powerful creators. One of my favorite artists sells through Etsy, and he has over 40,000 sales on Etsy. I think they look at creators like that, and let's say 40,000 sales, let's say he only made $1 each sale, $40,000. They see now that they could have 20% of his $40,000. And you know what? That's probably a nice little bonus for some executive. Just my thoughts. Again, I don't work for Etsy. I don't know these things. And I will 100% admit that I am very cynical when it comes to larger businesses. I think it's unfortunate to see Etsy, a platform that I thought was on the side of smaller creators and represented the little guy, turn into this more fucking shit platform. I don't know. I have so much that I could say, but it's not really going to make a difference. So the whole point of this video was to present you with the facts. If you have an Etsy shop, keep you informed. Throw some ideas that I've had around, and I would love to have this conversation in the comments if you guys are willing to have a conversation. If you are just on Etsy's side and you're just going to be like, you're a fucking idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 save it. I'm not going to have that conversation with you. I'm willing, if you are on their side and you would like to have an educated conversation, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a puppet, you're just brainwashed. I'm willing to have that talk. But my thoughts on the matter right now, I'm leaving Etsy. I am going to start shopping around for other platforms, whether it's me building my own website or making a Shopify shop or something like that. I'm leaving the platform. Again, most of my promotion comes from making YouTube videos, showing my stuff on Instagram and Facebook. I create my own buzz. I don't need Etsy's platform. I don't need somebody to type in lowbrow monster painting on Etsy and me just happen to pop up. Most of my stuff comes from me directly. I don't need Etsy, so I'm not going to let them take any more money from me. I am deleting my shop in the next few months. My current shop will stay going for the next month or so. I'm aiming for probably mid-April to early May to have a new shop completely up and ready. I'm waiting on some new products. Definitely going to be redoing some things. A lot of the things you see on my Etsy shop now will no longer be available once I move to a new platform. So if you see something on there that you like, I highly recommend getting it within the next month because it's not going to be there anymore. It sucks. I thoroughly enjoyed Etsy. I was a huge advocate for Etsy. I always tell people, like, it's worth it. Like, Etsy's very helpful with everything they do, but the last 6 or 7 months, they've just done nothing but prove to me that it's not worth me, at least, being on there. And again, it may be worth it for some people, and I'm not, this isn't a call to action. This isn't me saying, like, all of you need to delete your shops now. This is just my opinions mixed with some facts. The facts, Etsy will now be taking a percentage from offsite ads. That may not sit well for a lot of people who aren't working with massive margins. I think I did pretty good in this video. I'm sure I was pretty annoyed at some points, but I think I did pretty okay. Etsy's new rules, in my opinion, they're shit. I'm done with the platform. I'm shopping around for new things. So if you have any recommendations for sites that you use or selling platforms that you think will be effective, I'm all for hearing them. Like, I'm all about hearing what you guys are working with. If you have an Etsy shop and you didn't know about all this stuff, let me know your thoughts. Like, let's have this conversation in the comments. If you didn't know about it, let me know what you think about it. If you did know and you're against it, tell me why. If you're for it, tell me why. I'm willing to have this conversation. Even if you're for it, and let's say we have this conversation and you convince me that, like, hey, this isn't that bad. It's already kind of been in my head that, like, I don't really need Etsy's search algorithm. Like, again, all of my stuff comes from the work that I put in. So I could have any website and I'm probably going to still see the same amount of sales that I've been seeing because I don't think Etsy's search bar is doing that much for me. That's just my opinion. But yeah, that's it. My eyelid is starting to twitch from stress, so I'm gonna stop talking about this one, take some deep breaths, put it in the past, look forward to building a shop, moving on to the future on a new platform. It's unfortunate that with Etsy's changes, I can't get behind them. That's all there is to it. The same way that I look at like people freaking out about YouTube's policy changes, this is how I feel about Etsy right now. Yeah, I'm not dealing with it. I'll be shutting down my shop in the next month or so and moving to a new website. Sorry there wasn't art in this one, guys, but I do think this is important to the artist community, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed. Yeah, I don't know, I'm pissed. Whatever. So I'm in the middle of editing, and I just realized there's a couple other things I just want to touch on real fast. I understand that this could be good for some people, because I've been thinking like, who could this possibly work for? And I realized that it's not good for people who have to like create most of their stuff by hand, but for people who are kind of like, say they're like reselling some of those like jewelry things that you can get into, those like jewelry kind of pyramid schemey things. It could be great for them because those people don't have to like hand make stuff, or basically like it would be great for resellers. It's not good for people who like create their stuff by hand, take a lot of time just to have their profits cut in on. For the people that don't have to do anything by hand and their job is literally just to post something that they're sent and sell it through a platform like that, this is great. I can understand that this could be very helpful for certain people. I personally hand create, like most of my stuff is created by my hands. Cutting into my profits doesn't work out for me. So I understand that it could work for some people. I've been sitting here editing just like, man, try to see it from the other side. So that's the only way I could see it, to where if I was like that type of person, I would be pretty excited. If I was selling just some random, if I was selling cups on there that I didn't make by hand, I just get these in a box and post a picture, then I'd be pretty pumped. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Also, I forgot to mention this, but I'm going to be doing a video series where I like search for a new platform to create a new site, and I show you how to create a whole art website from scratch. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. I don't know, I'm feeling pretty allergy-ish. I still got the diffuser going strong. It's blowing all this vapor into my face. It's pretty nice actually, but whatever. Yeah. Now this will be the end of the video, so we'll do the little, yeah. Bye.